Welcome, everybody. We're about to watch the initial release of 23 minutes of raw gameplay footage of the new Gray Zone Warfare. Let's check it out.
Roger, Raven is in the air and heading to base camp. This is Raven arriving shortly near your position.
Doesn't look too bad. Yo, look at the trees moving with the wind from the helo and the rotor wash. The way the grass started moving like a little bit and then it increased in its intensity.
Ready up, we're taking off.
Yo, this looks fucking sick. So that would be the main base they left there. I remember them talking in the previous footages, like everybody has their own like base of operations.
30 seconds.
But this looks fucking good, dude.
Move out!
At least what I'm getting from this video is rather good directional audio on that helicopter leaving. That was a nice slow drown out. Whoa, wait a minute. You just change. What just scope? Its scope changed. Did he go? Do we see? Okay, we're number 3 man in the stack. Okay, and then we switch to number 4 man. Okay. So the first guy is Daniel Defense M4. Looked like he had a shorter barrel, 16-inch, but he had a red dot on it. Looked like it was an aim point, but now it looks like we're using a 1-6, maybe a 1-8. This looks good as fuck. The bushes aren't too loud and overwhelming when you're going through them. The characters still look a little stiff with their uprightness. You know what I mean? Like this seems a little uptight. Upper body movement, like there's not a lot of movement to them in the shoulders. But remember, guys, like this isn't like full release. They're still going to go into early access and everything. But what we're seeing so far, this is early access. We switch guys. I like that the bushes aren't so loud and overwhelming. Little suppression effect there. I don't know if that was a little bit of suppression effect or if the well, that looks crisp. Had the typical getting hit like animation of the like, noted and moved. I liked how the AI moved for cover. He didn't just stand there after being hit though. Doing Overwatch as these guys go in. Remember, guys, this is supposed to be PvE VP. So there is the potential for players, but we don't know if we're going to run into any in here yet. Reload animation. Looks clean. Even hit the paddle. Release the bolt. The AI death's still a little wonky. Still needs a little bit of work. Overall, not terrible. I've for sure seen worse. Alright, so up top you can see the meds. So we see his character showing in a crouch state. You see his chest is lit up as red. It looks like they got a bleed indicator. There's another icon there. Shows his head with like a red dot. Can't really quite tell. So there's the bleed indicator. Plus you're then looking at the showing it's affecting his fucking vision or something that way then too. All right. The recoil doesn't look bad either. Like, it's relatively minimal. That's what I'm noticing and I'm liking. The recoil's not crazy out of the world. It's just like, no, it's a 5.56 M4. It's got a little bit of a bounce to it, not a lot. I like that the rifle's not... other shooters will have the rifle sitting higher in the screen. Staying at a consistent... But with this, you're not getting that. It leaves it just below your arm. You guys have it forward so they can still engage if you need to, but it's not so much. Bring it back up. This looks good. Being early access, it's very promising. So from what they were saying is the game is supposed to be PvP, PvE, supposed to have both, as well as the potential for servers of just PvE. So far, I'm rather impressed. I'm doing just an initial look right here, an initial review. I wasn't wanting to really put out too much on the content-wise until we see some real footage. This is supposed to still be pre-alpha footage, though. The guy needed a white light on that gun. Apparently the phone is what they were going in for. It looks good. Animations, checking mags. The environment looks really detailed. I'm curious to see how well it runs on systems. What the requirements are going to be. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the blurred outside of the optics. I get it's trying to draw focus into just the scope. So here's gonna be my thing I noticed so far, right? Is they enter the camp, there's gunshots. But the rest of the people in the area, only within a certain area, seem to aggro. They still like they were running their normal patrol routes for these guys. They weren't doing heightened security. Based off of that, they should have at least done a more of a hunkered down effect and stayed in a sense of alertness. So we got a nice little shoulder swap there as well. We got a attack sprint, bringing the weapon up. He's looked like he had a bleed on him as well, so he needs to be addressing that. He is. Hopefully, in the early access, at least, you get it where the AI, at least, as long as they're able to hear the gunshots, and if the gunshots aren't a normal thing that you hear regularly to where you just become numb to the audio of it. I mean, it's like if you're in an area and you're in a war-torn area, you're hearing gunshots all day, non-stop, periodic. You're not going to really think anything of hearing gunshots nearby, except you may occasionally just be like, that sounds closer than normal, and then you're going to increase your alert level. Oh, blood bag. So the guy needs to give himself some blood. He must be running low on blood. Okay. So hopefully that is something they look at, though, is, hey, within a certain range, they need to do what they did when they initially went in. The AI started moving around, and they had to engage and deal with the threat and people moving to them. I wish they would create a secondary circle outside of that to where it throws everybody into an alert status to where they may just kind of hunker down, but they're more ready for a gunfight. And then outside of that, they may just be like, what is that? Kind of just like looking around a little bit, but not too alert. That way you're not running into guys that are just like, there's people here, gunfight, and then guys right outside of that are just like, what's going on? What happened? I didn't hear anything. Just slowly moving through the village towards, I'm assuming, their extract point or rendezvous point for after initial contact and completion of objective.
Come on, pussy. You scared?
The AI fucking taunting us now? It's in English. At least know when I'm being taunted. Not a huge fan of that suppression effect. Wonder if that'll be something you can... Oh, actually, it looked like he got hit in the head. His helmet might have taken around his head. That's quite a bit of rounds right there. The character animation when he left-shouldered his weapon while crouched and tied around looked really wonky. I don't know if that's a suppression effect that pops up in the screen on his little character in the top left, but if that's an effect for when you get shot, that may be one thing, but if it's an effect for suppression, I don't think I'm really a fan of that. I'm not really a huge fan of games that do massive suppression effects. This magazine check and change. Different options for how you're gonna proceed to open a door. Okay, gathering more intel. Probably based off a scroll wheel going up to the door, and I can tell you, and you just scroll the wheel down, scroll your wheel down and select. It still looks really good. for being pre-alpha, not bad at all. I would like to see you're going through an entire village, fighting everybody inside the village, town, whatever you want to call it, and you're hitting contacts. You'd think the AI would put in for assistance, radio in for backup, that they're having contact, especially once they start taking mass casualties. I'd like to see maybe some vehicles come rolling up. They don't have to be armored or anything like that, but just transports, dropping more people off, making the situation more stressful than it already is. That may be something they're looking at doing further down the line. Looks like we got an icon pop up in the top left. That looks like lips with water. So I'm assuming he's thirsty. He's to hydrate. Maybe change his socks. I'll have to make sure he does that when he gets back. I will say the vegetation's thick. So like I noticed there, like just trying to locate his teammate through that bush, like you can't see anything through the bush, and it looks like the AI aren't exactly aggroing people through the bushes either, like just seeing them and blasting accurate rounds through a bush. There's an experience icon popped up in the bottom right. You guys aren't seeing that because of the camera, but it's real faint. I wasn't able to quite catch it either. Okay, so we just called for a pickup. Nice. So from when it arrives, approximately 10 rounds in the mag. Okay, we're check.
Raven here. I'm moving out. ETA, 1 minute. This is Raven arriving shortly near your position.
The ambient noise, the birds and stuff like that's a nice touch too. I like the rotor wash effect.
Landing, get in, go!
But he's got a
Moving out.
M4 with a Geisley rail. All right, guys. So there's the initial replay of the 23 minutes of raw gameplay footage for Gray Zone Warfare. Hopefully we find out when it's supposed to come out to early access. I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me today to do this initial raw review of the footage. Overall, it looks very promising. Outside of the normal points I made during the gameplay, it looks good. I'm excited for what's to come. Obviously, there's some things that I imagine are going to be addressed. Things will probably look a little more fluid on the character movement for both the AI and for the players. But like we said, this is pre-alpha gameplay footage. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for checking out the video. Check me out on twitch.com/thigh_gingy. We'll see you guys later. All right, there we go. We have Tat coming in with a fucking recording, right? A fucking blurb right at the end.